So I took my own advice over the last several days and employed key number 4 in the reading of Titus by asking other people what it is that they hear in the book. That's a little bit of why I'm just now getting around to posting this video. I asked several folks to read Titus with me. What were their perspectives and takeaways from the passage we read together? How did our understandings compare? Were there things I had missed? Were there places that our mutual but independent readings had diverged? What was the book saying to each of us individually? And what was it saying to our broader community of faith? So I want to share 2 of those responses with you. Here's one. Titus encourages believers to stick to the truth, sound teaching that leads to godliness. Know what the apostles taught as gospel, know what they didn't, and be prepared to defend the difference to people who might try to adulterate it with additives. And this was a really solid thought on the book of Titus, and as I considered it, along with the theme of order and the admonition Paul gives Titus to select elders, I found myself really encouraged to see that the principle of order and soundness are met in the qualifications Paul offers. Men who are faithful to their wives and act with consent and predictable behavior in their day-to-day lives are unlikely to jump from the consistent and sound truth of the gospel. Their faithfulness and consistency in other areas of life, the order they've adopted for themselves, is a marker for how they will shepherd and the truth they will adhere to. A second response. Titus is structured in a way that tells us 3 things. Leaders who live righteously teach righteously and lead others into righteous living and good works. It's as simple as that. If we're going to read this book for what it's worth, we need to see that bringing the community to the work of the kingdom begins with leaders who are already committed personally to the work of the kingdom. The talk comes in the middle, not at the beginning and not at the end. The walk of our shepherds will create the path for our sheep. I really appreciate these 2 understandings that were shared with me in reading the book of Titus, and I'd love to hear more from others. I don't normally ask for responses to these devotional videos, but I want to encourage you. If you read the book of Titus, how did the responses I shared before this mesh with your reading of the book? And what else did you hear in this scripture? I love you, and I pray today that God speaks to you through the community of His church. I pray that you know that you are not alone in your search for discernment in regards to God's will for you as an individual and for us as a family.